Hi everybody, welcome back. In this video I'm going to talk about 14 ways to make a brand iconic. Every brand has the aspiration to become an iconic brand. So what are the levers that a brand can pull? What are the attributes a brand can use to become an iconic brand? The first thing is that brands, as a ground rule, have to have a great product or a great service. It's got to be flawless, and they have to deliver on that over time consistently. So that, number one, is one of the main important parts of a brand's path to becoming iconic. Another aspect of what a brand has to do is they have to have a laser focus on one key product or one key service that they're really going to push. They're really going to put a tremendous amount of marketing effort behind, because that marketing effort over time is what's going to cement their brand in people's minds. They have to own it. They have to really get behind it. They can own things like shape or color or a service or a character or a personality, and they have to be consistent with it, as I said, over a long period of time. Now, this doesn't mean that a brand can't evolve. All sorts of brands evolve. Look at Coca-Cola. Their logo has evolved over 100 years. It's remarkably similar to what it used to be, but it has changed. They've done things to keep it current. Their product line has also expanded. So, you look at Pepsi or Coke, and they have focused the majority of their brand around caramel-colored sugar water, but the needs of society and the needs of people have changed, and our points of view have changed in wanting more healthy things. So Coca-Cola has expanded into a much broader range of brands and products, things like vitamin water and Capri Sun, Dasani water, and Minute Maid orange juice. So you don't have to have a completely narrow focus view, but you have to get behind that one key product or service that you are going to push to become iconic. Many of the brands I'm going to show have used all or many of the attributes that can make a brand iconic. They might have used color and a product and a package. They might have used technology and a personality and a character. Any combination of aspects of these elements can be used to cement a brand's iconic stature. So here are 14 examples of different ways that a brand can be iconic. So first of all, shape. Coca-Cola has used the shape of their classic Coke bottle for over 100 years to cement themselves in people's brains, and they have become an iconic brand because of it. The silhouette of this bottle is known around the world and is probably the most recognized package in the world. Brands can also use layout as an iconic element. Marlboro Cigarettes, for example, has used the layout of their cigarette pack very consistently over decades and decades, and it has become a very iconic symbol of their brand. The red shape at the top, their logo type at the bottom, their crust in the center. It's very simple, much like the Campbell soup can it actually has some of the same color blocking. But they have become a very iconic brand because they have stayed with the same layout over time. Another level that brands can pull is the functionality of their product. Converse and their Converse All-Star high-top basketball shoe. That's a very iconic product, and it's because of the functionality of it. Oh, sure, it's also because of the color and their logo and the shape of it, but the functionality of that ankle support was one of the key things that made that brand very recognizable, and as they've used it over time, incredibly iconic. Technology can also be used as an iconic aspect of a brand. Apple, and you could say Microsoft, are two technological brands that have used technology and leveraging and innovating around technology and how that technology is delivered either by iPhones, iMacs, whatever that is, as an iconic aspect of their brand. Characters can also be used as an iconic element in building a brand. I think immediately of Disney and Mickey Mouse. Mickey Mouse has been around for over 100 years and has remained relatively unchanged. The drawing style of it, yes, has changed, but they've also leveraged and kept that silhouette of the two mouse ears in a way that is absolutely recognizable, even when it's just a silhouette. Characters like Tony the Tiger or Chester the Cheetah for Cheetos, two other characters that are used to help make a product brand iconic. The experience of a brand can also be used as an iconic element. Disney, another great example. The experience of Disneyland or Disney World and the characters and the rides and the colors and the sounds all create an experience that has become over time incredibly iconic. And on the flip side of that, let's look at Las Vegas. What happens in Las Vegas stays in Las Vegas. The flip side is this completely different type of experience, but when you say Las Vegas, that brand, the Las Vegas brand, represents partying, it represents drinking, it represents nightlife, it represents shows. It is a brand experience. Color is another aspect that a brand can leverage to use to make their brand iconic. If you look at this teal blue, I bet that you'll come very close to thinking of Tiffany's. Tiffany's has used this pale blue, this kind of turquoise blue, in their packaging, in their boxes with the white ribbon. When you see this package, you immediately think Tiffany's. That's because they've done it very consistently, and they've put a lot of effort behind owning one particular color. Brands can also use symbols to become iconic. McDonald's has used the golden arches on all their signs and all their products for decades and decades. Those golden arches have become incredibly iconic. They've even simplified it to the arches themselves. So when you see them, you immediately think McDonald's. Levi's with their back pocket patch red shape. They've done this as well with a symbol. Nike with their swoosh. The list goes on in terms of icons. You can also use packaging as a lever you can pull to make a brand iconic. Think about Kentucky Fried Chicken and their iconic bucket of chicken. That package form is completely ownable by Kentucky Fried Chicken. Method uses packaging, clear plastic packaging with colored liquid inside for their soaps that make their package incredibly iconic. A brand also can become iconic because of innovation. Think about Volkswagen with their Volkswagen Beetle, which came about just during World War II. This car form was incredibly innovative at the time, very aerodynamic at the time, and they didn't change it for decades and decades. It's still being produced almost in this form in Mexico to this day. That innovation and the fact that they have owned it has made Volkswagen iconic, even though they have moved on to other forms of vehicles, and those vehicles in some cases have become iconic as well. Community can also be used as an iconic attribute. Facebook's entire, I think, brand iconic stature is based on the concept of community. A brand can also build iconic stature around what is essentially a lifestyle. Harley-Davidson has done an amazing job of this with their motorcycles. There are people who live entirely the Harley-Davidson lifestyle, from getting tattoos to wearing the apparel to riding the motorcycles. Just about everything in someone's life, they can reflect the Harley-Davidson brand if they want to. They start to identify as Harley-Davidson people. Sound can also be used as a lever to be pulled to help make a brand iconic. The Aflac of the Aflac Duck, or the tones, the musical tones, bum 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 of Intel Inside. One of the ways to tell if you've arrived as an iconic brand is your brand becomes a noun. For example, Band-Aid. Band-Aid's been around for over 100 years as well, and a Band-Aid even was started off as a brand name, but it has become ubiquitously known as a noun, as a thing. Everyone calls basically every type of immediate peel-off bandage as a Band-Aid. Uber's also been really successful in becoming a noun. Now people are saying call an Uber. It's not call a limousine or call a taxi. It's call an Uber. Uber has become a noun. Another way to tell if your brand has become iconic is if it has become a verb. Google it. Google has become a verb around the world for meaning search on the internet. So that's it. I hope you enjoyed this video on 14 attributes you can leverage to help your brand become iconic.